My name is Davide Malpassini, who doesn't know me. I'm a senior architect inside HWA, so I'm cover a lot of the main architecture design of this feature. What we added inside this new list that is going out these days, the first is a part of new database like Postgre. It's something that some customer asked. Okay, so what is Postgre? It's an open source database. Okay, is supported by a lot of different companies in an independent way. And what's more is one of the most supported database on all the cloud provider. So I suppose that a lot of customers are asking it to use it as a managed service on the cloud provider. So at the end, it's a normal database, okay? So it uses the same SQL compliance, transaction. It also supports a lot of new features like JSON, okay, native way, and it's very performant, okay. It's based on MVCC for multi-version concurrency, so it allows it to be a lot of performance during the update of data, okay. And it's very cost effective, also because the support user is not so high. It can be scaled horizontally, okay, with the active passive solution or also active solution in the sharding. We currently doesn't support the sharding directly, okay, in the product, but active passive yes, with automatic follower if you want. It's supported in a lot of operating system and also platform. For example, it exists also for ARM, so I can run it directly on my Mac. This is a lot of reason, okay. There is a lot of solution that is quite cloud native, but is managed there. There are solutions that are directly managed by the cloud provider. So Postgres is one of the, I think, Postgres and MariaDB that is present in all the cloud provider that you could choose. Is open source, so you can check. Support full text search, JSON support in extensive way, so you can manage also a lot of the JSON data. Okay, and the way to install the product on Postgres is the same. Okay, so you can install Liberty over Liberty. Okay, encrypt the password of the database if you want or if you don't want. Okay, use the configure database, create the DWA user, install the MDM, the GAPM or the DWC server, install the agent. So it's the same story. The only difference that we will see is the RDBMS type that is PostgreSQL, okay? The admin user, if you want to create automatically the schema with the configure DB, okay? The user of the database, not the power user, okay, should exist. That is not told here, but you have to create the admin user that is usually Postgres, okay, but also the user that you want to get all this the grant to sell to insert from the AWS schemas, okay, is something that you have to create before. Okay, but after and once you're done, the database will be populated. Okay, and after you can install the product, specifying the DB user, the name that you have previously done, and the DB port, and the RDBMS type that is always PostgreSQL. That is the new. Currently, for the DWC, it's the same. Okay. Before going on, This is if you have to do an fresh install on. If you want to move from one database to another database, currently the only option that you have is to do a DB export or DB import using a composer by the end of the day. So you will lose the statistics, okay, in doing that, but you can move from one database to another. And obviously is with some interruption of the service, because meanwhile you can prepare everything in the other environment, but at some time you have to do switch off everything, start up everything. So it's not so painless as a movement. They move from one database to another. I don't know if you have any question.
Yeah, how much has that been tested, that migration? And is there any gotchas within that? Are there certain components might not move smoothly?
The migration from one database to another, okay, not so extensively, because behind the scene is composer export, composer import. Okay, so it's like testing the creation of the object directly using composer and Postgre, or reading from another database, it could be Oracle, using composer. So that is a very basic feature.
Yes.
Postgres, we have tested using the same suite that we usually do during the development, okay, on a DWC, master, server, scheduling, and with the same, and we will have the same results of the other platforms and the other database. So what the suite gets, okay, as regression, it's covered on all the platform and all the database. Could be that something escaped, but currently I'm using it also in my environment. If I show you, I'm using currently, okay, this is my Docker Compose, okay, and if you see, I'm using Postgre on ARM. I'm at the S64, okay, console server and Azure on this PC, and I use this every day. So I don't do strange scheduling, okay, something like that. But the database uses for the mirroring, okay, so for the modules, for the plan, and for the modeling, and during the planning and the creation of the plan, okay, that is the big use of the database, and that is quite well covered by our Quest suite. So I don't think that there is any problem, also because the submission and everything else is managed by Batchman and the FTL of the master.
Yeah.
So unless you are doing dynamic submission or even triggering, Postgres tested as all the other database.
Yeah. You got any questions on that? No. Straightforward?
Yeah.
Have it done tomorrow?
Which versions of Postgres are supported?
We tested from 15 to 17, if I remember correctly. I don't feel that we will face any problem also with upper version.
We're using 14, right?
Yeah. I use 14, that is lower than what I tested with 14 for sure. 15 is tested, 16 is tested. The only,
Is there a recommended version? No?
my point of view, the latest version of Postgres was the better, because usually they use and introduce a lot of performance improvement in every release. For example, you will face a lot of different performance between the 9 and 10. They did a very a big work on the planner. Okay, so my suggestion is always to keep it updated. Okay, if you don't want to go to the latest, it's less one.
But if you're using a cloud provider RDS version, it will be the latest.
Usually they took 6 months from. Usually you will see the latest version, okay, major version, okay, in the cloud provider after 6 months that is out on the field.
Right.
Because they need the time to test and integrate also the management tool that they have. So usually that. So Postgres. Okay. Third one. Okay, this is a tool that will be present only on 10.2.3 that allow to and help you to manage the certificate. That I know that is a very big pain point for a lot of our customers. Okay, we are working to reduce and this is only the first part, so it's not the full picture. Okay, but it's only the starting point because we cannot do everything in one release. Okay, so what we understood from our customers is that they want a way to simplify the transition from the old default certificates to the new certificates, okay, and improve also the documentation, the user experience in how to manage and handle all the certificates in the product, okay. So from this, we decided to create a new tool, okay. This tool will be used both for fresh and upgrades, okay. And this tool is called Serpent, will support the following action, okay. So will allow you to generate a new set of certificates. After we will see, extract certificates from another system, so you can replicate the same certificates to another one. That could be useful also from during the upgrade. Okay. Verify. So if you have a set of certificates, check that these certificates are fine for the system. We could have missing some check, but in that case, let us know so we can fix also the checks that are missing. Versioning and import the certificate. The import is not still available. The replace. Okay. So the generate command of Serpent will generate a new set of certificate, and you will end with a directory that will have the CSRT, the CR key, the TLSRT, TLS key, and TLS session. Okay, that are the minimum set of certificates that we need. That's not really true because we could also avoid the CA, but the CA help us in regenerate and change the certificate. Because the only big problem really that all the customers are facing is that they have to move from one set of certificate to another set of certificate without any CA in the missing that is in common. That's the problem. Okay. If the user specify the CI path, okay, so you have a CA that can sign our certificate, you can specify it. In that case, it will use your CA, that could be a company CA, okay, that will sign the certificate that we need for each environment, okay. I think otherwise it will create from scratch everything. So the other command is extract, okay. With this, you can point the TWS environment and say, give me the certificate that I use in this environment. So you can install another environment that is the copy, a certificate point of view. That okay. And does support also the JKS file. So that means that you could use the X command also on versions that are lower than 10.2.2. Okay, so this is could be used to move to 10.2.3 from any environment, from 9.5 until 10.2.3. The extra command is available.
David?
Yeah.
What do you mean by, just go back the slide, go back that slide? Yeah. This command can also be used on previous versions of WLA by manually adding certman. Is certman a binary?
It's a single binary.
Single binary.
Yeah, I didn't say it, but it's a single binary.
And you can copy the binary back to a previous version that obviously doesn't exist, and it will work with the previous
The problem
version.
is that you could not use to import certificate on the previous version. That's not supported. There are some more commands that are not supported on the previous version. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the location of the certificate, the file of configuration, the kind of the certificate, of the key store of the certificate are changed during the history of the product. Okay. So the extract is the only one that is for sure tested in all the previous releases. Okay.
So this is important if you're going from say 9.5.
And you are using the default certificate, and you don't want to, and you don't know what they are, but you don't want to migrate and rotate all the CA certificates. Okay. With this tool, you can do extract from an end of 5 and use the same certificate.
Yes.
So you can install another agent, another master, another backup, do the migration, align everything, and after, probably, if you want, you should rotate your certificate using yours, or at least a set of custom certificates, self-signed, but that are specific for that environment, and not the default one that we wrote in end of 5 and also in the beginning of the 10 release that are equal for everyone.
Because I think people that have tried to install the 10.2.2 DWC
I've had loads of issues with certificates connecting to previous versions.
Because no, the DWC needs the SSL folder. Required. The problem is that you have to keep it manually.
Yes.
From the installation of the masters and move it manually. And you are not well aware what is the directory that you have to backup.
Yes.
So the other changes that Stefan bring is that now also on the master, the SSL folder is mandatory. Okay, so you have to run before certain generate. If you don't want, you don't know, certain generate in a folder. Keep that files and install with that files the backup, the WC, whatever you want. Okay, but that are the set of certificate that you have to use. Otherwise, we had some customer TA that install a master with the default command, so without specifying the SSL folder, and they have done the same with the backup, and they could not communicate. And when they installed the WC, they copied one of the two, but if try to connect to the wrong one, you cannot communicate because they are two totally different set of certificates. So we decide that the SSL folder is mandatory, and you have to install at least each component with the same set of certificates. That is the best. Okay, and if you want to generate a different certificate for each component, use the same CA in the generation. I don't know if you know at least the basic and how the SSL and histo works. But every certificate could be signed by another certificate, okay? And it's what we use every day when we go to Google and so on. Okay. Usually you don't trust the leaf, the latest certificate, okay, but the CA in the chain, and you could verify in every moment that that certificate is the one that is signed by someone that you trust in the chain. Okay. So it's for third party trust that you trust this certificate. The CA that is inside the histo is the same. The CA usually has very long life because they're not exchanged for encrypting the traffic. Okay, the encryption is done with the normal certificate in the leaf, and you can rotate them without any problem if you trust the same CA. If you have to change the CA, you have to add the new CA in all the places that you want to use the new CA, and after generate a set with the new CA. So it's quite more difficult and time consuming. So the rotation of a CA is something that is not done every day. Amazon will rotate some CAs, send us an email. We will rotate this CA in 6 months. This will be the new CA. Please update your trust, otherwise you will lose the connection with our services that you are using. It happened in August.
Yeah.
Certificates, the whole use of certificates within IWS
We have a lot
used
of
to be under the covers, didn't need to bother about it. When you did the install, you got the default certificate.
once
if
it
you-
was that.
If you want to change it, you can. Most organizations didn't. Now, that default certificate isn't shipped. So either you have to copy it off your existing 9.5 system or generate a new certificate. And that's really what this gives you. So you really have to understand SSL.
That's a security issue that in theory we have to pronounce as
And you have to understand it's not just a certificate. You've got to be able to read that certificate and understand what it's doing, because
with this tool. It's easier because there's a verify.
yes,
There's generate, so you can generate and forget what you are doing.
Yeah.
So you don't need to know all the sync to the command line for SSL for generate a set of certificates. So we are trying to do the same that we do before, but we cannot copy automatically between all the selections, the
Yes.
set of the certificate. In the 10.2, that part was quite under the cover and explained during the installation, okay, in the docker, but we found that nobody had it. So the only way to let the customer be aware that there are under the cover some certificate is to have the parameter of mandatory first of the master, and we add the problem. We have this tool to help them to generate and also their custom certificate.
yes,
Also, a lot of customers problem with certificate that are real certificate, at least inside the company, okay, because there are a lot of intermediate certificate, okay. In 10.2.3, we and this support also the CA CFT that has multiple keys inside.
yes.
So will be much easier to handle intermediate certificates between the chain.
What we've found is that in a number of installations, customers have said, okay, well, I need to go and talk to my security team to get this PEM file, the certificate itself.
And they've gone to security and said, provide the certificate file, and they've done it. And then it's not worked.
And there's been something missing from the certificate. But then it becomes very difficult to understand, is it what you've done as part of the install that's wrong, or is it the certificate that's wrong? And
This is the command that
Certman Verify will actually, you run it against the certificate and it'll actually tell you what's in it. And you can confirm that the format's right,
everything is fine.
all the different things.
And if you use it, everything should go well. Okay, if there is some security that provides you certificates. Okay, if not the case, you can also do Certman generate and forget the certificates.
Yes.
Only copy that folder as a prerequisite in every place that you have installed a component for AWS. You have to do this once and after copy everywhere. That is the best way to have everything that work fine.
You have to plan this properly. You've got to understand a bit about SSL and how it works and how to make sure that the certificate's right, all these sorts of things. And then
Also,
use these tools in order to,
it's not written here, but the default certificate that you have in 9.5 or until we didn't remove them are only 1,000 length. So for example, you cannot enable also if you upgrade the latest version, the TLS 1.3. And currently the TLS 1.2 with a lot of blocked cipher and feature is still considered secure, but I'm quite sure that in about 1 to 2 years, the minimum TLS version will be 1.3. So all the pen tests, all the security scanning in your company are at level with signal the TLS 1.2 as not good because it's insecure, and you have to rationally to upgrade to a version that has the TLS 1.3, and for that you need a new set of certificates with an higher level of the key.
yes.
So currently it's secure. So no scan will say that it's insecure. That's not a problem. The problem that when they will say that will be insecure for any reason, you have to rush to fix. Also in banks and so on. I think that there are a lot of security compliance about CV, insecure product, secure port, secure protocol. I'm right. Yeah. So the day that the TLS 1.2 will be declared insecure, if you didn't switch to a new set of certificate, that will be a mess.
Yeah, so to summarize, bedtime reading, learn about SSL. You're going to need it.
Also because without SSL, currently you cannot expose any service
Yes.
for security. Because also your own network isn't secure. The current point of view of security is madness. There is nothing secure. Okay, go on. The version command is only to check the version of the command line. Okay. The import command can be used, and that's very common pattern. Questo is and not only is very useful because it's saying that it's used only on the WC. That's not quite true. This will allow you to add inside the component the trust for another one at the end of the day. So you can add inside the CSRT, okay, the trust of another certificate that could be an MDM. So I have to add another MDM with another set of certificates. I don't know why. Okay, so with another set of certificates, but I want to trust from this DWC. With this command, I can import directly that certificate inside my DWC, and so I can connect. Okay, so for example, in theory, this command should allow you also to use an HTTPS URL. Okay, so from it happens if you use, for example, RESTful and you try to connect to another service that has a self-signed certificate. I saw, I think, about 20 cases like that one. You will use a RESTful plugin from that agent to connect, and it says PKIX. The certificate is not known issue. So you have to extract the certificate from that machine and go to the agent and find the position of the keystone. Okay. Check how to use key tools. Okay. And add the certificate that you extracted from the remote machine to the keystone of the agent. You can do this with the only this command line. You can do self-man import the URL, and it will add the certificate of.
So you do that on the agent.
Also from the agent, you can use it to add the certificate from a remote service.
So you run certman import on
The
a
URL.
dynamic agent
On the dynamic agent, on the URL,
and point it
is
at the URL of,
PKEX problem, and we will end with an environment that will work.
Okay.
So how the selection, I've already told this, so we can go on. Okay. Now I will move it fast. I want to go to the DWC. So this is how to install. Fresh. In upgrade, there is how you can extract, but we have talked also from Nov24. You can use it. So we support until 9.4. So before I was wrong. Okay.
but the default certificate that's provided in 9.4 is valid until 2032, isn't it?
Yeah, but they are expiring also. So the size is very small. So it's quite time to.
Yeah, so the sensible thing to do is to get an internal certificate in PEM format and import that into IWS and user.
The only things that you can do currently that could be useful is to import both. So you can port the older certificate and generate the new one and install everything with this. So when you have done all the migration, everything, you can remove the old one, but you already have the new distributed along with the old one. And so you can start using the new and retire the old one. So this is the safest way to migrate. This is something new. Okay. Embedded job. As the name says, currently, this is for distributed, okay? And when you have to create a job in TWS, usually you have to create two options. The job definition, the jobs. Okay, so if you want to schedule a job, you have to create these two. With embedded job, you can create a job directly inside the job suite without creating a job definition. So you can specify it directly in line with the job stream definition. And okay. So the idea is that usually the job definition, if you have to create them if you want to use them between multiple jobs. But if you have only a job that you can be used in that part, it is too specific. Why you have to create a job definition and create the reference? You can also move directly this job stream from the dev environment to production environment without any problem, without a middle object in the middle. Okay. So exactly. So if you want a single use job definition, the best way is to use this. So the embedded definition will exist only related to the job where it's defined. So you cannot do an SVJ that because there's no definition really. There is no name that you could reference. Okay. And it's also easier to use if you think about the variable passing, because to use the variable passing, you usually has to reference a job in a job stream. Okay. And in a job definition, it's strange to reference a job stream. Because if you want to use that job, you have to use that job in that job stream. So it's very strange, okay? To use a parameter inside the job definition as a variable. Okay. So you don't see them also in the job queries. Okay. So this is currently what we have on job definition. That means another definition. You can add or replace a reference and you switch instead that job stream, which is the implementation of that job node, okay? And then embed the job tree that is embedded with the job stream. So you don't have to manipulate it in any case. So there is also some changes to the scheduling language because you will get the letter. You see, the first is a reference. The second is the definition of a full. If you do a full export from Composer, you will end with this. The third part is the built-in. Okay, so the inline job definition, and you will get it also when you are not doing a full export of the definition, because that will be in line with all the job sets. Okay, this is in normal version. Okay. Any question on the job definition? Embedded is quite easy.
How easy is it for an embedded job to be recreated in the database? If the business decides that instead of single use, they want to use it elsewhere, do you have to? Can you just export it? And
oh, you can export it. It depends. From Composer, you can export this and use as a job definition, and after change the definition. From the UI, currently it's not implemented. Even our plan will add the conversion from embedded to external definition, and also the inverse. So we want also to convert external definition to embedded without throwing away the definition that you use. Okay.
can you set external job dependencies on embedded jobs?
Yeah, it's a job node, so you can put any external dependency on it. Because the external dependency is not on the job definition, okay, but it's on the job node. When you define the job stream, okay, the job, you have the job that is the job node. When you put name, usually use the same name of the job definition. Okay, but that is a different entity inside the database. Okay, that is the job node. And all the dependencies are on the job node. The job definition is only the reference that what that job node should do. In fact, you could also change the job definition in the job node without touching their dependency. I don't know if you have ever changed it, but you can change the key and all the dependency from that, it should work.
Okay, this is the new workload designer. Mark already presented it quite well. This is the new palette where you have the building blocks on the first and the asset on the second. I will show you everything. The canvas is the central pane, okay, where you can drop job stream and job. And what is not so clear currently is that that canvas is a workspace. We currently support only one workspace open at a time without saving or loading different workspace. So it's quite hidden as feature. But it's the same. Every change that you do to the current set of workspace, okay, are directly saved in the workspace, not in the database. Okay, I will show you, and you will not see the changes until you do deploy. Okay, when you do deploy, you are really saving the definition on the master, and from that point they takes place. So when you do the next plan, you will use the new definition, the job stream. Okay.
Is it possible to segregate access? So people can self-serve creation, but only certain people can deploy. Can you segregate?
Okay.
That way?
So someone could design and someone could deploy. Currently, the workspace is personal. Okay, so it's not shared between people. That's the current limitation. The next release with the manage of the multiple workspace, you can also share the workspace with someone else. So you could have the privileges to design, but not the privilege to deploy. Because to deploy, you need to have the add, modify privileges on the master on all the objects that you want to change. So the deploy allow you to change only directly from the workspace the job stream. So if you remove the modify and add job stream, no one can deploy. No one can deploy the workspace. The other changes are directly on the database. If you want to change a variable table, you can change it directly. Okay, it's not something that you need to think about. Also, it's difficult to think about where you can put it inside the workspace, the canvas. It's not something that is a scheduling. It's some utility that you use. Also, the calendar. So you can manipulate them. Okay. Let me show.
Sorry, can I just ask a question about the designer? So if you create a job stream and jobs and all that sort of stuff, that's just in the UI until you press deploy, and then it creates the objects in the model. Can you then submit into plan from the UI, or do you have to do that?
Allora, currently no. Currently, this is not an option. We didn't make it in time.
Okay.
Easy plan, okay? So it's one of the things that we have to shift, okay? But below the deploy, there should be also the run. So you can submit directly the workspace inside the plan. That is quite the same thing to submit a folder. So it's another feature that was asked from customer from a long time, is the ability to submit multiple job streams in one go and resolve the dependency between them. We need that feature to do the run from here, because you could have the same issue here, that are two job streams with dependency, and you want to submit them at the same time with the dependency resolved between them, not with something different. So we are working on that. Once we can do, we enable it.
Okay.
But yes, if you go to the asset, okay, instead, you can run job definition, so the SBJ, okay, and the job stream, you can run the SBS. So if you accept something in the database, you can run it directly. You can duplicate and can edit. The edit of the job stream obviously is a fresh environment. I will open final. Wait them. I know. I'm just doing nothing.
Okay, and the scheduling resources that the user account has access to are the only things that are seen. So if they're in a subfolder somewhere, they can only see those resources.
They can see everything. The search is full, so it will search everything that has inside, which
Yeah, you're doing that as WA user, but if it was a different user account that was
it will
only in a
apply
subfolder,
your
okay, good.
you have to have at least the list permission to have something here. Obviously, if you add and modify, it needs to do the changes on the object. If you don't have the modify command, I cannot do anything. If I don't have the delete command, I cannot delete. Okay. But here I can handle quite all the objects. The only object that are missing is the workstation from here, and there's
But if you create, excuse me, if you create something new
yeah.
and forget to press deploy,
No, if you create something new here, it's that in the database.
yes,
So credential, calendar, domain, folder, job definition, from the sources, variable table, workstation class. We can create something.
yeah, that's exactly like the
Calendar.
workload designer.
Exactly. That is directly in the database.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you created it through the graphical designer and forgot to press deploy,
Yeah, you are not saving anything on the database.
okay.
But I will put a job stream. I don't know. Database job. Okay. This will be automatically in line. Okay.
Yeah.
If I write. Okay. And here, JS1. Workstation. Master agent. This is on AWS. Okay. This is everything in autocomplete. Okay. Okay. And I don't know how to put everything to deploy. treatment. Okay, now I can say, can deploy it. So if I do, it will create this job stream inside. But if I don't do, for any reason, I have a problem. The laptop goes down. Okay, I lost the connection, everything. I could re-enter, and if I go to the design, if you don't tell me, I can also close the browser and start that. Not a problem. But not it will be lost.
Right, okay.
Because this is saved automatically. Every second, or every change, to be precise, every change that you do in between 1 second will be saved.
Where will it be saved on your
On
local device?
no, on the DWC,
Okay.
on the DWC database.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the workspace is always aligned, and you can log also from another machine, and you will see the same thing. Okay. Once you deploy, and I have only have the problem.
Yeah, then it appears in the empty space.
Okay. Okay. It asks if you want to delete everything. So if I press yes, it will be blank. If I want to edit it once more, I can go here. Oh, and here it is. Here in triggers, we have obviously, if you want to promote it also as service for the service account, run cycle. Okay. So if you want to create a run cycle here, you can create a run cycle. I don't know if you have any curiosity about, oh, that's great. That is in line. If I want to, I can also use, I can have a job definition here. If I want to reuse it directly. Yes. This is a Mac plan. If I want to create a dependency, I can say the dependency is external, internal, okay. If I want output condition, okay. So if there's a conditional one or not, it will change also the arrow. If you want to do it external, you can promote it to external dependency, but the meaning is totally different because it will be linked between dependencies in different distance. Here there is the workstation. If you want to change the workstation, you can also add. Okay. On the jobs, you can specify by from section, option graph, and go one on one end. So, if you want. That condition are created by cloud support. That is supported in the type of dependency resolution. And I think that I will finish with this. Question?
Any thoughts? Nige?
You can also change the task type. Like it. That was something that was not possible with the WLA.
Is this a more intuitive interface for creating jobs and schedules? I know you've got to try it out and see how good it is, but
Pieces, the workspace management and the workflow. Because the feature of this feature is also to have one that design
one that approves and one that deploys. Or could also promote this on different environment. So I do this on QA, and I want to promote it to that. And with the workplace moving, it's pretty much easier. The sharing between.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions I've got is that you're a native user, and a lot of the guys in here are they're comfortable with flat files. What about in terms of scalability? There's like business capability came to me and said, I'm going to see only the version 25, 30, what's the plan for allowing us to be able to take those workspaces and display them so the developer can see what the flow looks like in real time?
Okay.
Rather than just thinking about it before we deploy, so we're talking about things that work.
You can on the document if you want. Currently, we have done features community 1,000. On the normal laptop is working because okay, that is seconds and all the lower is on the laptop and the consumer in the server. Think about technology. This library is using a commercial problem, but is using a canvas. So it's not just me. So it's custom design on the laptop, on the web. So it's quite efficient in move a lot of pieces together. So we are thinking about also the jobs we need here to advantage to do a lot. Okay. Also the stage, the job we have to change the jobs in the plan. We see kind of visualization. Also because it's much more fast.
I'm thinking like though, if you've got end users and you've got like a self-service kind of thing, is it going to make it easier for them to use? And so I notice you've got errors down there. Is it going to, has it got some? You're going to build some checking in, and then, as you say, there's a workflow sort of basis to it. I think that's the way. For me, maybe it should be pointing to, not mature users, right? It's like, trying to help other people potentially, I don't know, that are new to.
It's more intuitive.
Okay.
Kind of
I mean, I see my team working more and more with areas to understand that they need a sequencing workload automation functionality. They have no intention of learning it.
Yeah.
And no intention of wanting to understand it.
Drop down all your sets and link.
That's I
the
think.
block.
Yeah, so I'd see that's where it should be going. If that is your intention, to make it easier, just for people just to drag and drop and pick it up rather than wanting to.
And it's not to devalue the work that the scheduler in our team for different companies. This is about giving the client the ability to consume it in a different way that actually means something to them.
Can you access the run cycle through you?
Currently, no. We know is one of the missing piece that we have to add. We have to add also a preview here that lets you to move directly in a tabular format to the corresponding graphical object on the canvas. Because if you start to drop down inside this, then creativity job strings with 100 jobs at everyone, I can zoom, okay. Try to read where it is, what I'm searching. So with something that lists all the jobs in the and they can click and you can do this one, this one, okay, and zoom that directly here. It's better. We have also here.
This is the first release of this feature, but what's your feedback? Are you interested?
What
Yeah.
do you
The
think
benefit
that
for it
is missing
I would say the ones like the preview is key.
in several periods?
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of it's time-based scheduling to be able to see what dates and what times. That's just really completely.
Having a bird's eye view of what you build, especially everyone I'm bringing my engineers on the call at the moment, and I've got young engineers who are bringing through. It takes time, it's an art to be great schedulers. It's not something you can just pick up straight away.
Yeah.
This gives opportunity to develop them in a secure way.
Mhm.
And almost giving them the ability to do 4 eyes checks. So focus on themselves, so they can see what it is they're designing. And that's a positive step forward.
Okay.
To ask then, so what is the best way of giving feedback into new features and, you know, the requirements like that into it? Is it to use ideas, what's the database, or what is the best way, or would you prefer it in a different format or a different way, or what's the best way to the?
Okay, the first place where we prefer this kind of information is during the investment development. Because when we present the future during the development, everything that we can catch before and change before the GA, it's better. For announcement, also the ideas, but also because a lot of the idea that we have here, we got them from Vincent and Phil. I know that the encyclopedia was one of.
Yeah, okay. Because obviously part of it is you've got some ideas anyway, yourself, sorry. You've got some requirements that you've picked up
That
yourself.
are already.
But obviously, you know, so from a user point of view, you want to know like, well, okay, what's in the roadmap that you've already thought about rather than me regurgitating it. But I might want to like say, yeah, that's a good feature, or this needs to be a mandatory one. Is ideas, you know, that technique, is that still the best way to feed everything back to you guys?
And yes, we analyze them already.
Okay, all right.
It's fine.
Also, this kind of meeting.
Obviously, we collect those feedback to the user groups.
Yeah. Okay. But out of it, really, out of this, even, you know, if somebody wants to add some stuff in, then add it to
We want
ideas.
to, you know, keep tracking of what we
Exactly.
do. Ideas is.
Yeah, and we can, and people can upvote
Yeah.
as well, right? So that's important. Okay.
And they could check also the status.
Yeah.
He said what we bring from this meeting influence our roadmap and how we do the things. But you will not see it until it's done.
Yeah, I
because we are
understand.
not
No, I understand.
involved.
Thanks.
Okay. Was there another piece that you needed to do, or
No.
have you finished?
Finished.
Okay.
Because Marco already told before,
Yeah, we dropped the mic earlier.
so
It's focused everything before.
Okay. Should we